What's up, YouTube? Got a fun little video planned for you today. Today we're going to be talking about the price differences in the East Coast and the West Coast of Upland. So the first thing I would like to mention is I took an economics class when I was in college. One of the principles I really liked was this term, Ceteris Paribus. Ceteris Paribus is typically applied when we look at how changes in price affect demand or supply, but Ceteris Paribus can be applied more generally. In general, Ceteris Paribus is a Latin phrase meaning other things equal. English translations of the phrase include all other things being equal or other things held constant. So what I've done is I've taken the same data across the board and using Ceteris Paribus, not trying to apply my own opinions, though I will be giving my opinions, but looking at one point of data and another point of data and comparing that on all the different cities on the East Coast and all the different cities on the West Coast. Now, I've taken this data from Upland Marketplace Analytics, which can be found on their website under the community, let's see, you go to the home page, under the community tab, you click Marketplace Analytics, and you can do some of this research yourself. Now, I've made a Google spreadsheet here, and I'm looking at all the East Coast cities in Upland and all the West Coast cities. I've taken how many properties there are. You can see there is less properties on the East Coast. There's a total of 415,000 opposed to 522,000. I've taken the median mint price and the average asking price. I understand that median is different than average, but these are the two data points that the Upland team supplies on the website. And I've gone markup based on those, and I also show the lowest asking price currently as of today, the floor price or the lowest asking price in each of those cities. Now, some of my assumptions, some of my own bias is clearly the East Coast is way outperforming the West Coast. Other than two cities, San Francisco, which obviously is the first city that was introduced in Upland, and then Fresno was the second city introduced in Upland. Clearly those two way outperform when you look at the average markup. Clearly those two way outperform the other three on the West Coast. Whereas all of the cities on the East Coast which have been released after those cities, are all doing really well. In fact, the Bronx, which was just released this week, is already outperforming three of the cities in the West Coast. It's outperforming Santa Clara, Oakland, and Bakersfield. So yes, I believe there has been an element of hype, because here's some of my things that actually surprised me in putting together this data. Brooklyn has a total supply or more total properties than Fresno, San Francisco, like more than 2.5 times, or about 2.5 times the amount of properties in Bakersfield, and is outperforming Bakersfield by 3x versus when you look at the median mint price and the average asking price, the average for sale price. The average markup there is 10 compared to 4 in Bakersfield. That is massive difference. And obviously Bakersfield has probably been the least hyped, or one of the least cared about cities as far as one of the coastal cities in Upland. Now, I'm going to give you my two predictions or suggestions, and I've put them in green here, and that is, if today I were to go start buying up the floor of some of these cities in Upland, I would buy the Bronx on the East Coast, and I would buy Santa Clara on the West Coast. I believe my personal opinion, LOYLDOYL's personal opinion, this is not financial advice, but I believe those two cities are going to have the highest ROI from where they are now to where they will be in the near future. Santa Clara is extremely low for the average mint price, for the a median mint price to the average asking price. I think there's going to be a lot of growth there. And obviously the Bronx just got announced. When the collections get announced later next week, most likely I think you're going to see the prices immediately go up a lot more. And here are my predictions. I think within the next quarter, I think the first quarter of 2022, we're going to see the Bronx go up to an average asking price of close to 100,000, and it'll look more like, you can see if I go back, it's currently way below all of these cities, and when I put it up at 100,000, it looks like, okay, that's kind of what you would expect it to get. I could even see it going to like 120. You know, that's kind of comparing to all these other numbers where I would expect it to go. Obviously, Manhattan and San Francisco are the two that are going to outperform any other city on either of those coasts. Just because they're the coolest cities that have been released. And then I think Santa Clara is going to have a massive bump, and I think we'll see that go up closer to around 200,000, possibly even 250,000 average asking price. Because there's such low supply. I think Rutherford, that's like, why is Rutherford? Rutherford's like a city nobody knows. That there's clearly no hype behind Rutherford, but there's only 7,000 properties in Rutherford. There's only 7,000. It's by far the lowest supply. The next closest is the Bronx. Those two are going to be massive, as well as Santa Clara. All the other ones have way more total properties. And I think that's why Manhattan, which only has 40, like, a lot of people are confused. Why is Manhattan? Why is the average asking price $1 million when the average asking price in San Francisco is $195,000? Well, that's because Manhattan has a total supply of 41,000, and San Francisco. So Manhattan has a total supply or total properties of 41,000, and San Francisco has 141,000, more than 3 times the amount, almost 4 times the amount of properties. So obviously the floor is going to always that's why we've seen the floor rise so quickly in Rutherford. These are just some of my opinions, and again, with the data, Ceteris Paribus, I used the same data points for all the different cities and made an analysis based on those data points. These are my opinions. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Would love to hear your opinions. Would love to hear what your predictions are for the future of Upland. Where do you think the prices are going to go? What cities do you think are going to perform the best? And let me know if you think I'm right in my predictions or if I'm wrong. Please leave a like if this was helpful to you. And as always, we hope to see you in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.